Syria is a country in a state of war. At present it is defined as a rogue state and included in the so-called blacklist. And yet the inhabitants of Damascus, with their kindness, seem to distance themselves from such an affirmation. It is only possible to enter into Syria at present through a small pass by land. In fact, airspace is prohibited. Firstly, you have to arrive in Beirut in Lebanon and then drive into Syrian territory. The Salesian work is here at Damascus. Right from the start, Dom Munir tells of the suffering of the Syrian population, forced to flee, forced into exile. Certainly, when you live in a state of war, as I always say, and this we did not learn during our years of training, to live as Salesians, following the Salesian mission, living in a state of war, you learn day after day how to live each moment. The young people in the Damascus Don Bosco Center are more than 1,300. We begin with children from the second elementary school right up to the 5th year of university. Seeing the high number of young people here in Damascus, we cannot welcome them all. In fact, the space is not sufficient. So we organize ourselves into age groups. Friday afternoon is for the older students, such as university students. Saturday is dedicated to elementary pupils. And Saturday afternoon is set aside for the young people of the middle school. Whereas Sunday is open for everyone, so that we can celebrate Mass together like a big family. Damascus has been the arena of conflicts between the regular army and the rebels affiliated to ISIS, but it has not seen total destruction, as in the case of Aleppo. In the last few months, there has been a relatively calm situation, and life seems to carry on in some kind of normality, but the tensions are perceptible at the checkpoints and the army is everywhere. The Salesian community of Damascus is made up of 4 priests from different origins. 2 are Syrians from Aleppo, 1 an Italian, the older one, and the 4th is a missionary who has just started working and comes from Spain. The oratory has 6 to 7 buses available, which travel around the city to pick up the young people and take them to the oratory and back home. It is a safe way to go to the oratory, in a city where public transport does not work, and the risks along the street are very high despite the massive military presence. The young people of the oratory are curious and want to say hello and talk. Every Friday afternoon they meet to have a chat in tranquility, sharing a piece of life and their journey in faith. It is an emotional experience to see young people that, despite the drama of their country, look towards the future and still dream. It is right and should not be any other way. It is their time and nobody should take it from them, not even a dirty and complicated war, which others in another part of the world have interest to keep going for an unknown length of time. Juliana also comes to this oratory. She's 17 years old, and despite her young age, she has become the woman of the house, seeing as her mother and brother have found refuge in Germany, whereas Juliana and her father are still in Syria, awaiting a visa to join them.
بعدين زادت المشاكل على طريق المطار. نحن اضطرينا إنه نحصر 5 أيام بالبيت.
There were many problems on the road that connects our village towards the city of Damascus. There were 2 roads, the first one very long, whereas the second one was full of problems. Like us, there were many people fleeing from the village towards Damascus. We walked from midday to 8 in the evening without food and without water. To reach Damascus, we took nothing with us. We were tired and the road was very long. We stayed for 3 months with our grandmother. When we returned to our village, we found our home completely ransacked.
لما رجعنا كان بيتنا مسروق.
هي بوفاة أخي. استشهد أخي قبل شهر من عرسه. كان رايح يشتري طقم عرسه، وقعد قذيفة وتوفى. هذا الشيء الوحيد اللي كان صعب بحياتي بالحرب.
The most difficult moment for me in this war was when my brother died, just a month before his wedding.
وبالأخص إنه هو كان الوحيد علينا نحن الأربع بنات.
He went to buy a suit for the wedding, and a bomb killed him. I lost the center of my life as our relationship was very strong. He was the only boy among 4 sisters. I asked God why that piece of shrapnel should have hit his heart and not any of the other 8 people who were there together with him that day. I asked him for a long time, and I stopped praying. The Salesians helped me a great deal. I asked God, if you are really there, then give me a sign of your existence. And God showed me his love with the presence of the Salesians. I am sure that nothing happens by chance in our lives. The hand of God is present even in bad situations, bringing good from bad. Now I live joyfully, despite thinking a lot about my brother and that which happened. I have hope and thank God for everything that has happened to us. Don Munir also shares the young people's pain. His grandfather was killed by the rebels. The tragedy was even worse as they could not get his body back as the ISIS snipers prevented them from going near the body for days. It is faith that helps all these people to carry on and hope for a peaceful future. The centre of the city of Damascus, a UNESCO site, patrimony of humanity, today is partially destroyed. But as you travel across the city and arrive in the suburbs, which are in the hands of the ISIS rebels, you see terrible things. Buildings which have completely collapsed, walls blackened by smoke, and holes in the walls where there used to be rooms of everyday people. The second part of the journey foresees a visit to the second Salesian work, the work of Kafroun, near the great city of Homs. Kafroun is in a mountainous area to the west of Syria, quite near to the border with Lebanon and the Mediterranean Sea. The landscape changes gradually the higher you get. The rocky desert and dry terrain gives way to cultivated fields and coniferous woods. To reach it, you travel up a winding road which goes through small villages, many of which are inhabited by Christians. The house at Kafroun serves the Salesian works of Syria and Lebanon as a point of reference for the young people's school camps and the training days for the Salesians and members of the Salesian family. We are talking of a Salesian presence that began in 1992 and lasted only 20 years. In fact, in 2009, the Salesians closed the community and used the house only as a holiday house.
بهذا البيت بال 2012
In 2012, this work was reopened for the entire year to welcome those people made homeless by the war.
بسبب الحرب الصعبة يلي عاشتها.
The most important aspect is that in just a few years of a stable Salesian community presence, a strong group of Salesian helpers has formed. fathers and mothers who continue to carry on the educational style of Don Bosco.
أنا اسمي نظام زود سالزياني معاون من مراكز كفرون.
My name is Nizam, and I am a helper at the Kafroun house. We have welcomed many homeless families caused by the war in Syria. We have welcomed them with great joy, and we have helped them. As we welcome them, we have introduced them to Don Bosco, and now they want to know more about him and ask where the other Salesian centres are in different parts of the country. During the weekend, they open the house on their own to the young people in the area and organise the activities in the oratory. My name is Elias Hanna. I am 15 and come from Homs. For the last 5 years, I have been coming to the Salesian oratory. I thank the Lord for everything and Don Bosco for all the good things he has done.
نعمة كبيرة وجودي ضمن العائلة السلزيانية.
I am very happy to be part of the Salesian family, which I consider to be my second family. I have learnt about Don Bosco and his personality attracted me, and I consider him to be an example for life.
لما جينا لهون كان في عدة عائلات وصلوا قبلنا.
When we arrived here, various families had arrived before us. They lived together with a beautiful spirit, and this place was safe for us. We are not the only ones who came here. There are other homeless families looking for peace after losing their work and lots of other things.
فترة أمان بعد ما خسروا أشياء كثيرة بيوتهم محلاتهم أشغالهم.
Kafroun was created initially as a colony house for all the 3 houses in Syria. Then it was closed for a period and opened only in the summer as a colony house for the houses of Aleppo and Damascus. The Sunday Eucharist is frequented by about 200 people, most of them young people. The atmosphere is simple and friendly, typical of country and mountain villages where everybody knows each other. You can see that the people here are more tranquil with respect to those in the city. In fact, the rebels have not arrived here. Life runs at a slow pace, even if the consequences of war can be found in this area, with photos of civilian martyrs, the presence of homeless families, the checkpoints at every crossroads, and the lack of work affecting every family in this place. The third leg of our journey is towards the city of Aleppo. To get there, you have to take a very long way round due to the closure of the motorway, which goes from Homs to Aleppo as it cuts through a territory still under rebel control. From Homs, you have to take a secondary road for Raqqa, and after a 3-hour journey, you meet the road that rises north from Palmyra towards Aleppo, this ancient Silk Road. Right at the gateway of Aleppo, the situation is clear. Buildings completely destroyed, bearing witness to a brutality and inhumanity difficult to describe. We are near the international airport of Aleppo, that right from the beginning of the war was closed due to threats, and it has been occupied numerous times. This is East Aleppo. We are in the eastern Aleppo. About a year ago, you could not reach this area. Now slowly we will lead this road, passing the so-called lines of fire between Aleppo, east and west.
Nelle linee di fuoco, diciamo tra Aleppo Est e Aleppo Ovest.
Here we are on the actual line of fire. Towards our left, the suburbs of Midan begins, where most of our young people come from.
Dove maggior parte dei nostri giovani anche arriva da queste zone.
This suburb has never been abandoned by its inhabitants. From here, we are in the actual city.
Siamo nella città.
We are very near to our house.
Alla nostra casa.
This area is called Al-Syrian Al-Kadiri, which means the old quarter of the Syriacs. So most people living here are Christians. Welcome to our home. In the western part of the city, which has never been seized by the rebels, we find the Salesian house of Aleppo. The Salesian oratory is in a big building shared with the state high school, a private typography, the Greek Catholic parish church and school, which is also Greek Catholic. This educational work has never stopped functioning as a normal oratory, open all day to the young Christians of the city, even during wartime. We visit the eastern quarters of Aleppo, where the rebels began their offensive and followed through to the conquest of the historical centre of Aleppo. The houses here have no historic or artistic value. They are suburban buildings attached one to another. Here, the concrete has tried to put up a greater defence than the old stones and clay walls of the historic centre, but there is no real resistance against the powerful impact of modern weapons. The dusty and grey roads are marked by the continual passage of people who walk hurriedly and by the numerous children. Even in this hellhole, life begins again. The inhabitants are resisting with a strength and tenacity unique throughout the world.
مرحبا. تمام. ان شاء الله منيح. نشكر الله. كيف صحتك؟ كنيسة ال40 شهيد للأرمن.
ايه جنب الشجرة.
Le stanze
مع مطبخ.
del letto con funzione piedi. Un grande incontro.
The young people who frequent the oratory are about 1,000, all Christian, even if they are of different religious confessions practicing different rites. There are Greek Catholics and Greek Orthodox, Syrian Catholics and Syrian Orthodox, Armenian Catholics and Armenian Orthodox, Maronites, Chaldeans, Protestants and Catholics with the Roman rites. The children and young people that frequent the oratory are about 900, together with a big group of about 60 young university students. They meet together for catechism, sport, football and basket, and for after-school activities and for the summer school. The summer school is open even despite the war and replies to the very serious needs of these young people. Every afternoon, the Salesians open the rooms of the oratory and, helped by university students, they create the conditions ideal for younger people so that they can dedicate their time tranquilly to study. The rooms of the oratory are in an underground location. The thick walls, with the logistic position, make sure rockets cannot penetrate this safe area.
هندسة حيوية، خريج هندسة حيوية، وبخدم بمركز جورج سالم للآباء السالزيان بحلب، وصار لي.
I am a biotechnology engineering student. I take care of this oratory in Aleppo. I have been here for 16 years.
هو مشروع كتير مهم لأنه
The activity that we carry out during this period of war is that of offering after-school activities. It is very important for us because the war has affected our young people and their studies. I fear that the war will leave a generational gap of those without education. We have tried with all possible means to help them.
حاولنا على قدر الإمكانيات المتاحة إنه يكون في خدمة للأولاد والشبيبة بهالناحية التدريس.
مع الشبيبة منا مدبي تعليم مسيحي وكمان
I work with the young university students organizing the weekly meetings and catechism activities.
للقاءات الأسبوعية اللي بنعمل لهم إياهم.
صار لي شي 27 سنة بالمركز من الصف الثاني.
I have been coming to this oratory for the last 27 years, and I am very attached to it. Saint Giovanni Bosco influenced my own personal growth, and the Salesian spirit built my personality.
الروح السلزيانية هي حطت كل حجرة بشخصيتي وكونتني مثل ما أنا.
أنا اسمي سارة نعوم. أنا بنت من المركز صار لي 5 سنين.
My name is Sarah Nyaum. I have been coming to this oratory for the last 5 years, during which we have experienced some very difficult moments. At home I was afraid. But when I come to this oratory, I am happy because I see all my friends. Even now, despite the fact we have lost a lot of people whom we love, we are still alive.
بس رغم هالشي لسه عنا رفقة وعم نعيش حياتنا وعنا إيمان بأنه رح نعيش الفرح أكثر وأكثر بوجود المركز والآباء الساليزيان هون.
علمونا إنه نعيش الرجاء والأمل إنه بكرة رح يكون أحسن مع إنه كل
We have learned to live in hope despite everything, even though everything that surrounds us talks of sadness and fear. Hope unites us and makes us give the best of ourselves. Due to the numerous number of closed schools because they have been bombed, to disintegrated families because many have emigrated abroad, and the psychological tension that day after day erodes the desire to dedicate time to study, many children and young people do not go to school. The risk is there will be a generation that has not received any education, who is easily manipulated in the future by the powers that be. That is why the oratory is even more important. The Salesians are a reference point for many Christian families in the area who, due to the war, have lost their jobs, or have been injured by bombshells, or have lost a son in the army fighting against terrorism.
في 2012 لما حلت الحرب هي الحرب الشرسة على مدينة حلب.
Like everybody in Aleppo, we have experienced moments of fear. We asked ourselves how long this war would last. Maybe a week, maybe a month, or even more. Unfortunately, we soon realized this war would last a long time. That is why we felt it was our duty to take care of the young people of Aleppo and Sim. Right from the beginning, we tried to keep some level of normality, opening the oratory, carrying out catechism, and organizing activities for the young. We have not done extraordinary things, just normal things that during a war become extraordinary. For this, the spirit of Don Bosco for us, who for the first time have experienced a war, signify giving witness to a joyful life. When everybody talks of death and pain, we celebrate the joy within life.
شهادة حياة لما كل اللي حوالينا بيحكي عن الموت نحن نحكي كنا عن الرجاء. هاي كانت قوة المركز بزمن الحرب.
حلمي كان كتير كبير بعد رسالتي انه يكون في سالزيان بكل سوريا يخدموا ويكون في دون بوسكو موجود تيعطي حيوية وحياة.
I dreamt of having Don Bosco's spirit spread throughout Syria. When I studied in Rome, I always complained with my superiors. I always said that in Italy there were many Salesian centers, whereas in Syria there was only one in Aleppo. Don Giorgio once said to me, "Don't be afraid. One day you will have the stick in your hand and you will see many Salesians in Syria. And here we are. The dream has come true and it grows all the time. Here we are in Aleppo, Damascus and Kafroun. Here, there is also a prayer room and a place for young people to retreat. This was my dream, and I hope to continue it. Wherever I have been, I have tried to create a welcoming Salesian atmosphere, and many young people come to us. At Kafroun, 1,550 young people come to Mass, so many that there is not enough space for all. The Salesians of this work have been present during all the years of the siege of Aleppo, and for many people it was a safe rock where they could place their feet to continue their daily journey. They were strong trees offering refreshment and rest from fatigue and a safe place from danger, just like the green leaves which absorb carbon monoxide and transform it into oxygen. These men of God and sons of Don Bosco have absorbed pain, death and fear of these people and transformed it into hope, love, happiness and a desire to live.